Well, good morning and welcome back to the allotment and the channel. Well, I'm not actually on my plot. I'm on Emily's and her partner's, and they're taking the greenhouse that was on Sally's old plot, and I said that I'd put a base down for them and Martin and myself would move the greenhouse. So I was down yesterday afternoon preparing the base. You can see my plot just there with the greenhouse with the shading on. So yeah, so I was down yesterday making use of anything that we had to get this base down. You know, it's not about going out and buying new flags and this, that and the other. It's about using what's around you. And I had a few 450 flags left over, so that's what I've done. I'll take you in, let you have a look. So the greenhouse that they've got is a 6x6, and these are 450 flags, so they weren't quite big enough. So what I've had to do is just leave a gap in between these areas here just to get the right size. So all I'm going to do is, I've got some sand in there. I'm going to mix up some sand and cement, and I'm just going to fill those gaps in with that. Once the greenhouse is on it and we screw it through to the flags, it's not going to go anywhere. And then all they're going to do in the middle is they're going to put some membrane down that we've got just there, and they're going to just put gravel in that area. So as I say, it's about making do and mend, not going out and, you know, getting new stuff. These were just clogging my plot up, so they're no use to me now. The ones that I took off the back plot, so they might as well go to some good use. Right, I better get this mix on. Something I don't like doing, mixing in a barrow. Fire this in here, take the excess off. It seems the last video caused a bit of controversy within the comments, but I do think overall everybody agreed that it's a real bad mistake if you want to try and close sacred places that are allotments. A lot of differing views politically, which I said would be, but as long as we're all respectful of each other, you know, we're always going to have differences of opinion. So, but as I say, you know, the overall comments, well, we all agree that the government need to wake up and realise that these places are very important to people. It ain't just about growing food, it's about communities. And I know that some of these councils are building newer and bigger ones, but that's not the point. When you've got some, I mean, this allotment's over 100 years old. You know, you've got people on here that have been on here 30, 40 years. it's no comfort to them to think, oh, we're going to a nice new allotment. Who's going to take the sheds down, the greenhouses down? Who's going to dig that soil and turn that soil over? Who's going to get all that manure and everything that they've put into that soil? It's going to take years, and I don't think many people have come back from that. So whilst they are opening new ones, I really don't think they should be closing old ones either. Right, let me crack on with this, and then we'll have a chat. I mean, Martin's not down yet, so it might be. I've not seen Dan, but he did say when I last saw him that if I ever wanted to go up to his allotment, I could, and just have a walk around. So I might do that whilst I'm waiting for Martin to come down and help me dismantle the greenhouse. Right, let me crack on with this, and we'll go from there. There we go, that is all nicely cemented up, and I'll leave that to set, and we'll go for a little wander up to Dan's plot. You never know, he might turn up. Emily and her partner have got quite a bit to do on this plot. It was left for at least probably about 2 years before anybody came, and it was all like this. But they've made a start, and they're actually growing some stuff down this side here. Got some carrots, got some tomatoes, and it's slow and steady that wins the race, really. And you look at this and you think, gosh, you know, am I going to be able to achieve it? But you've just got to do a little, but do it often. And what they've done is they've decided to go down this right side, and I think that's the best way forward. Work the way up to the top. When they get to the top, boom, we turn around and come back down here. They have said that they're going to try and salvage this. It was a polytunnel that got blown away, and then the guys that had it before turned it into a net tunnel. But unfortunately, that collapsed. But they said they're going to try and salvage it. I don't know how successful they'll be with that one, but there's a few that have said that we'll give them a hand. I think the first thing is to free it up from all those weeds there. Right, let's get up to Sam's plot, which is right the way up the top there. Right, we're getting a little bit closer now to Dan's. You'll see the giant maize and the sweet corn appearing on your right here. As I say, Dan has only been here for probably 3 months or so. This plot, look at the size of this. I am saying that they're to the tips around 10 foot tall. Dan came, oh there's Dan's brother-in-law. I'll go speak to him before, just to let him know what I'm doing first. He's been talking to Dan's brother-in-law, whose plot is on this one here, and just made him aware that Dan had allowed me to come onto his plot. I didn't want him thinking I were going on there without permission. So we come through, this is Dan's greenhouse, and as I say, this corn is unbelievable. Let me just get you here. Now, look at this. He's planted them very, very close together. They are less than a foot, some of them, but look at this. You walk through here, it's just like being in a jungle. Stunning. Just walking through to the other side. But yeah, and as I say, these are towering above my head. Now, they have got quite a lot of fruits on. They feel very, very firm, so they feel as though they are on the turn, and he's going to get some decent crops. I'll tell you something, the rats might find it difficult climbing as high as this, but he's done an absolutely fantastic job. I've just helped him do a bit of pollinating there. I've got a lot of pollen up my nose, but he has done an absolutely fantastic job. What he did tell me at the beginning was this cling film here he's wrapped it all the way around the bed. And basically when the plants were young, what that did is it shielded them from the wind, and also just kept a little bit of that heating, so just altering that microclimate slightly. And he says that's what's really given them the boost. So I'm not going to argue with Dan, because it looks as though in that, now I think, I'm not sure now, Dan told me one side is corn and the other side is maize. So I'm unsure, and without him here I wouldn't like to speculate. Some of these don't seem to have any cobs on them yet, so you've got a question there, you know, are we going to have enough season left for those to produce? But certainly these here, all the way through there, are all full. He also is growing sweet potatoes, I believe down at the other end there, and in this one he's got some brassicas. But this was knee high, well probably waist high in weeds 3 months ago, and he came along with his brother-in-law and his sister, and they took this plot and his brother-in-law took the other one, and both of them have done unbelievable things. So it just shows what you can do, you know, if you just have a plan and get stuck in. Hopefully we'll meet Dan another day, and he can sort of explain a little bit more. I'll invite him down to my plot, we'll have a cup of tea and we'll talk growing. Right, I'm gonna head off back down here. I don't know if Martin's here yet, but we'll see. Martin's not arrived yet, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put kettle on and have a brew. But as we were talking sweet corn and maize, here we have 10 pairs of socks. So I've got 20 socks there, and they're going to get pulled over the top of my sweet corn. Now, somebody in the comments last week said that rats hate peppermint essence. So what I'm going to do is put these over the top. I'm going to get some peppermint essence, water it down, dilute it down, put it in a spray bottle, and I'm going to spray the socks. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make sure I get some sweet corn. So I had the brew and Martin turned up, and I have nettled my legs so many times walking through here. It's unreal. Getting in that hot tub later on is not going to be a pleasant experience because it's going to have sting with chlorine. Right, yeah, so we've deglazed. That is ready to move now. And where we've got to move it is, sorry about the wind, is literally where that brown shed is, just where that bush is, just behind there. Now, ideally, if paths and things were maintained, we'd be able to just hop over the fence at this side and take it across, but paths are not maintained, so we have to go all the way up this track. That's where the path should be, there, it's just non-existent. So what we've got to do is we've got to come up this path and then up round the back of this shed. Morning, Andy. And then turn left and all the way up there to the other side of that greenhouse. So that should be fun. Well, I didn't film us carrying it over because it's just far too hectic, but that's down. All we've got to do now is reglaze it, and then I'll stick some screws in round the other end, just to hold it down, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, as they say. So there we go, all glazed up, all done, nice and solid. So Emily and her partner can get cracking and use it. So that's taken me best part of a day. Oh, well, not just me, Martin as well. Best part of a day, but it's been well worth it, and I've been promising to do it for a while, and I think Emily's just started a new job, so that's in. I think all I'm going to do now, because I'm absolutely toast, is probably put the socks over the top of the sweet corn. Don't have the energy for anything else. I've got some bunting for the shed. I think it looks quite nice, but it's going to do me head in because they're flapping about. So I think I'm going to get some drawing pins and sort of drawing, you know, stick them on so they're not flying over the top of the roof. But yeah, I think they look great. I'll tell you what else looks brilliant, I think. Have you heard me? I shouldn't be saying that really looks brilliant, it's a bit boastful. But no, it looks lovely. What I mean, it looks lovely. I think they look great, don't you? Let me know what you think. That's my feminine side coming out there, you see. And the garden. But this little avenue of dahlias, I think looks absolutely lovely. While we're on it, look at these runner beans. They've really taken off. Remember when I were moaning on about them being scared of heights? Well, they're certainly not that now. Oh, well, I'm telling you now, I'm absolutely jaded. So there's not going to be much of a ramble towards the end of this video. I think I'm just going to get everything watered up and I'm going to get myself off home, myself cleaned up and relax for the rest of the evening. I'd like to thank everybody and all the new subscribers and the old ones for tuning in. Thank you very much for all your comments, and thank you for staying pleasant even though we don't agree on everything. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we don't have to always agree, but we have to always be courteous and respectful. So yeah, we've had an hard day. I'd like to just thank Martin for all his help today. We didn't film a lot of it, you know, carrying it and dismantling it, because you've seen all that before, but Martin's been here with me all day, so I'd like to thank him, and also thank my son-in-law Stefan and Freddie for coming down as well to give a hand just to get it lifted across. I hope Emily and her partner are pleased with it, but I'm absolutely goosed. So I will say no more and love you and leave you. I'll see you the next time. Until then, happy growing.